guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled You Are a Racist. I want to see your boss. This story takes place about a year ago. At that time I worked security at a big box store. I was on my way home from work, still in uniform, and decided to stop at a grocery store to find something for dinner. Normally I am the kind of shopper that is in and out very quickly, but I had a super crappy day at work and wanted something nice for dinner. So I wander lazily around the store, unwinding and figuring out what I want to eat. I go down the canned goods aisle and this lady looks at me, spins around at the speed of sound and starts screaming at me. Crazy lady will be CL and I will be me. CL, what the duck do you want? I am not stealing anything. Stop following me, you racist mother ducker. I want to speak with your boss. I was in shock for a moment as she went from totally silent to ear-splittingly loud in 0.2 seconds. Me, lady, I am not following you. I don't even work here. CL, yes you do. I see you in here all the time. I hardly ever come to this store. I am gonna get you fired for this. I am trying my hardest not to start screaming back at her. Me, ma'am, as I just said, I do not work for this company. I am just a customer. Now please leave me alone. For whatever reason this made her even more pissed off, and she started babbling incoherently at higher and higher volumes. At this point I have had enough and walk off before she tries to attack me. As I exit the aisle, a manager comes up and says that he heard the screaming and asks if everything is okay. She barrels down the aisle like a T-Rex pursuing its prey and demands that she be compensated for being discriminated against. I tell the manager that she just stated going off on me and all I want is to finish shopping. The manager confirms that I do not work for him and even points to my company's logo on my uniform. My company logo looked nothing like the grocery store logo. Well, Rexy is having none of it and continues screaming, calling the manager a liar until the manager tells her to leave or he will call the police. She stomps out the door and the manager apologizes to me, offering me a discount on my purchase. I turned him down as none of it was his fault, but he insists, so I accept and go home to make my fully loaded nachos. Let me tell you, they were some damn fine nachos. The next story is titled I Hate Clappers. This just happened today. I'm at my local Wally World, Walmart, dressed in my Hawaiian shirt, shorts, and just not looking anything like an employee of Walmart. I am with my cart, grabbing chips and salsa for a gathering I have this evening. A nice gal of about 5'0" asked me to help her get some chips from the upper shelf. Why is it the shelves for the chips are always empty at this Walmart? I, being 6 feet 6 inches, get asked often to grab things from the high shelves. I feel for you vertically challenged folks. So I grab the chips and pass them to her. She thanks me and goes on her way. Then it happens. The huff. I turn and see her. She says, now that you're done flirting, where can I find the batteries? I chuckle and say, well, what kind? She cuts me off and starts clapping. Where? Clap, or clap, the clap batteries. Clap. I then say, I'm sorry, you don't need to clap, I don't work here. She cuts me off again and says, don't have me get your manager. Where, clap, are, clap, the clap batteries. Now I knew what she was asking, but being that I hate clappers, it's the rudest form of communication possible. I say, they are over in the automotive section. Just talk to one of the service techs out there. She storms off. I continue my shopping when about 5 minutes later, I hear the scream. That's not what I wanted. Where is that a whole associate? I start grinning, here it comes. She hunts me down and says, they only have car batteries there. I wanted small batteries for electronics. I look at her, I smile, and then say, you. Clap or clap, not clap specific. Clap. Her mouth drops open, she gasps like I just stole all the oxygen from the area. She then says, where is your manager? Now I work remotely for my company, my manager works in a different state. I say to her, likely in St. Louis. As I tried to tell you lady, I, clap don't clap, work, clap, here. I then turn and walk away, while she spews hate and vulgarity in my direction. I am calling it a good day. Don't clap at me. I'm not performing for you. The next story is titled You Don't Work Here? Neither do I. It's been 10 years since I last did retail, though I spent a decent chunk of the prior 25 years in it. I'm used to being mistaken for an employee. My reactions generally reflect their actions. Polite request equals polite response and rude equals rude. Hardly anyone I have ever encountered persisted to the reporting you to supervisor part. But Monday I was at the Target in the next town over. I hadn't tidied anything while shopping. I tend to fold unfolded shirts out of habit when I am browsing women's clothing. Understandably, people see this and think employee. I cut them some slack. I was wearing business casual in burgundy slacks, black top and heels, looking absolutely nothing like a Target employee. I'm standing in the feminine hygiene aisle, marveling at all the ways pads and tampons have just exploded in variety over the past few decades and contemplating my various options in a humorous series of texts to my husband. Oblivious to the world around me, as usual. Suddenly my upper arm is grabbed hard and this lady, about my age, 51, says I've been trying to get your attention for a while now. Put down your phone and help me. I can't find the cat food. Grabbing me is not allowed, so my response begins with yanking my arm away and saying touch me again and your ass will be on the ground. Got it? I don't work here, go find someone else. She continues to demand my help. I insist I don't work here. She insists I do, and finally I just turn and walk away. And she shouts after me, I'd expect this from some kid, but you're old enough to know better. I'm going to find your manager. And snap went something in my mind. I whirl around, stalk over to her, wag my finger in her face and demand she go back in the back and get me the larger size tub of KY jelly. There is none out here and I need it now. I find bringing sex into a conversation makes people pay attention to what I am saying. She looks shocked and appalled as I say, and where are the Magnum condoms? Go find me those and the KY jelly. She tells me not to play games with her, she knows I work here and she's going to get me fired. And I just grin and say something I've always wanted to, I know the owner. I'm going to get you and your manager fired if you don't find me my KY jelly. She shouts that she doesn't work here and I look her in the eye and state calmly, neither do I. And stare until she looks away and starts heading down the aisle. Not sure what the pharmacy techs thought about two middle-aged ladies, standing in the middle of the feminine hygiene aisle of Target, shouting about KY jelly and threatening to have one another fired from a place neither of them worked, but I hope they found it as entertaining as I did. The next story is titled I'm sorry you confused my black shirt and cargo shorts for an orange smock. At Home Depot today picking up some flooring. A middle-aged lady approaches me asking if I can help her get something off a top shelf. I am 6 feet 4 inches and get asked this a lot no matter where I go. It's no big deal. I say sure and follow her further down the aisle. She points to a stack of tile on the very top shelf. I tell her that there is no possible way for me to get that and in the store would need to get one of those lifter things for her. She thanks me and I go on my way. Or so I thought. A couple of minutes later I am back in the aisle I was previously unloading with laminate into my cart and I hear a loud excuse me from behind me. Guess who found me again? Her. You going to help me or not? Me, ma'am. I have my own stuff to load. Find an employee to help you. They are walking around, or you can go to the front desk. Her, why should I find someone else when you are already helping me? It's at this point I realize she thinks I'm an employee. Me, ma'am, do you think I'm an employee? I don't work here. Her, if you don't work here, then why were you helping me? Me, because you asked and I don't mind helping. Look at me. I'm wearing a black shirt and cargo shorts. All the employees are wearing an orange smock and pants. Her, as she is walking away, you shouldn't offer to help me if you don't work here. Me calling out to her, I didn't offer. You asked. Cue her flipping me off as she walks away. The next story is titled Sorry, Wrong Number. My first year of college, I lived in a dorm. It sucked a lot, and so when my friend Paula asked me if I'd like to go in on an apartment with her and her incredibly cute friend Heather, I said heck yes. We each took a utility. Paula had the gas bill, Heather had electric, and I had the phone. I bought a telephone and an answering machine at Lechmere, and we recorded a cutesy outgoing message. Within minutes, we had our first call, a guy looking for Abby Auto Rental. I told him he had the wrong number, and hung up. He called back immediately, Abby Auto Rental? Nope, me again. What number are you trying to reach? He read off my new phone number. I said, well, that's the number here, but this is a private residence. He said, well, I guess you're Ed, because there's a half-page ad for Abby Auto Rental in the yellow pages with that number. Lots of luck. I grabbed the yellow pages and flipped to the car rental section. Sure enough, it was our number. I guess they had gone out of business fairly recently, for the ad to still be included in the phone book. So we changed our cutesy outgoing message to say, sorry, this is not Abby Auto Rental. They are out of business. You've reached Dave, Paula, and Heather. Please leave a message. It made no difference whatsoever. People kept leaving messages for Abby Auto Rental. At the end of the year, Paula and Heather moved out, and Dan and Yorma moved in. Yorma used to enjoy messing with the callers. He would take down their credit card number and make a reservation, promising free delivery, just as it said in the ad. Then he would go off to class. When the reservation time rolled around, the customer would call back, furious at the absence of their rental car, and frequently I would be the one to answer the phone. Dave, hello? Irate customer, where the hell is my car? Dave, sorry, Abby Auto Rental went out of business 2 years ago. Irate customer, what are you talking about? I gave my credit card number to someone this morning. Dave, you must have been talking to the ghost of Mr. Abby. Woo. Irate customer, I'm coming down there to kick your ass. Dave, okay, see you soon. You have the address from the ad, right? How are you going to get here with no car? Irate customer, rah. When Yorma moved out and Michelle moved in, we decided it was time to change the outgoing message again. We left longer and longer messages, but the calls kept coming. They had phone books. The phone books were 3 years old. Abby Auto Rental must exist. It must. Finally, I went out and bought a longer tape for the outgoing message. I recorded The Gift by the Velvet Underground. This song is 8 minutes and 16 seconds long. The left channel is the band noodling around aimlessly on their guitars, and the right channel is a male voice with a British accent, telling a story about a man who mailed himself to his girlfriend. We told all our friends to just hit the star key to bypass the outgoing message. This, finally, eliminated the car rental messages. I left the answering machine that way, and tried to forget about it. Almost a year later, I came home to a light blinking on the machine. It was the peevish voice of a little old lady, who had clearly listened to the entire story, including the part where the girlfriend uses a sheet metal cutter to open the box, accidentally killing her boyfriend. The message said, "That's a very nice story, but it doesn't help me. I want to rent a car." The next story is titled Karen Follows Me into the Men's Restroom. A few weeks ago I was visiting my local big box bookstore, looking for good clearance items before the store closed permanently. The dead mall it was attached to is being demolished. The store has no dress code, but the employees do wear lanyards, and I wasn't. So I was browsing around my preferred sci-fi section when I realized I needed to use the nearby restroom. So I headed in that direction, which happened to also be next to the mid-store customer service counter. Karen notices me, positions herself directly in front of me, and blocking my path to my urinary destination. "I don't know why you don't keep that desk staffed, but I really need your help finding my book. Are you going to help me or not?" "Not," I say, remembering the urgency of my business, and I step around her with a variation of "I don't work here," continuing to my destination, thinking that will be the end of the encounter. It's not to be. I hear her voice rising in pitch and volume, on its way to full Karen Banshee as she literally follows me into the men's room, and I'm convinced she was about to grab my arm and pull me around to face her. Being conscious of social norms about public exposure, I made it into a stall and locked the door for privacy. That didn't stop her from knocking on the door and threatening to get me fired. Before she heard the really solid stream hit the water and, I'm convinced, realized for the first time what it was she had done. I heard her embarrassed sounding squeak/huff, and she hightailed it out of there. I finished my thing and washed my hands, and came out to witness her being escorted out of the store by a properly lanyarded employee. I only caught the tail end of the conversation where Karen stated she was never coming here again. And the employee had a classic response, "Neither am I. We're closing." The next story is titled I Eat Breakfast at McDonald's, Racism Ensues. Happened perhaps 15 minutes ago. For context, I'm South Indian, and currently live in a mid-sized German town. I woke up a bit earlier than usual, so figured I'd stop at the McDonald's for some breakfast. I get my food, and I'm sitting at one of the tables by the entrance, and it's pretty early, so I'm also the only customer in the restaurant. I also have my headphones in watching a YouTube video on my iPad. Someone interrupts with a "Good morning." That was odd, seeing as I'm in Germany. Why not "Guten Morgen"? It's this older woman, perhaps about 50, with an open beer bottle in her hand, not that that's too unusual over here, apart from maybe the time of day, and tells me there's no one at the counter to serve her. When I inform her, in German, that I didn't work there, she refused to believe me. "But you're Indian." "So?" I asked. "Indians all have crap jobs," she replied. Then she started raising her voice, ranting that since I didn't work at the McDonald's, it followed I didn't work anywhere, and that immigrants were ruining Germany and how the IFT, far-right party, had the right idea. She wasn't done yet though. She saw fit to spit in my tray and told me to lick it. By then a manager had come over, so she'd heard the rant and witnessed the spitting. She asked me if I wanted to call the police. I did, but I also had a job to get to, so I declined. I'm a teacher, and there are exams today, and I'd promised a revision class, so if I didn't make it in or was delayed, the students would be screwed. I'm not sure how it ended. The manager have acted herself, I'm not sure. She replaced my whole meal gratis, which was nice because I'd pretty much finished. Guess I have some snacks for the day. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.